goody, Shellitronnn here. You can call me Shells, and I'm back again with a brand new video. And I'm going to keep it a Bowberry biscuit. Last night, the NFL draft was dropping perfectly. Picks 1 through 6 were such amazing picks. I was thinking to myself, we have done it. We have absolutely done it. And I'll speak on what that number 4 pick was. I'm going to speak on that number 4 pick and why it was kind of surprising. Maybe not all that surprising, but still, those first 6 picks were amazing. Watching Jamar Chase go to the Bengals was a great feeling. Watching Jalen Waddle go to the Dolphins was a great feeling. Then we hit pick number 7. And the Detroit Lions did not go for a defensive back. The Detroit Lions did not go for an elite wide receiver. They said, we are going to help out Jared Goff in another way. We're going to get Jared Goff some protection. And the Lions took my number 1 player in the draft this year. They went ahead and they took Penei Sewell. I was so locked in on Sewell. I said, hold up. We're at the 7th pick. No mock draft really had the Lions picking up Penei Sewell. Even when those drafts had Sewell falling that far, no one said the Lions had a shot at getting Sewell. No one thought they would do it, but they did. And I was in a bad spot. I was in a bad mind space because I was just so locked in. I knew as soon as he passed Miami that we had him. I said, once Miami does not take him, we have the pick right here. Didn't fall that way, but I know a lot of Panthers fans felt really good about Penei Sewell being gone at 7 because who was available at 8? Justin Fields, Pat Surtain, Rashawn Slater, and Jaycee Horn. Now, for me, I still would have wanted to see a tackle. Rashawn Slater, for me, wouldn't have been a bad pickup. But then again, my number 1 corner on my list, on my board, was still available. Pat Surtain was right there. I felt really good about 8. I said, okay, well, we can still pick up a quality player right here, or with Justin Fields still on the board, I've been saying for the longest time, if Justin Fields falls to 8, we have a very good chance at picking up a huge haul from some team trying to trade up to pick him up. That didn't happen. In fact, that didn't happen for a few more picks. Justin Fields fell farther than I expected. I really thought he'd go around 8, 9-ish. I thought that if we didn't go dummy and pick him up, then someone would trade up for him at 8. I thought that there was no shot he falls past 8. Someone would trade up for Justin Fields. That did not happen. I know that upset a lot of Panthers fans. They want Justin Fields, but I think we've shown that we've committed to Sam Darnold. We're going to try to build a team around him. I'll talk about that a little bit later on in this video. But at 8, we did not trade down. We stayed where we were with the number 8 pick in the NFL draft. The Carolina Panthers selected Jaycee Horn out of South Carolina.
I know that ain't who I think it is.
And I won't lie to you. Jaycee Horn is actually a very good player. He's a very good player. He's a legitimate number 1 cornerback. He shadows the X-receiver on the opposing team everywhere on the field. He plays press man coverage. He is a very talented corner. I just don't think he was the right pick at 8. Now, if we trade it down to 13 or 14, I think maybe he'd still be there. Maybe we could get Jaycee Horn at that spot. Or really, we could have done a few different things. If he wasn't there, we could have made a different move. Maybe for Elijah Tucker. We could have made a lot of different moves. But I think if there was a trade offer on the board, we probably should have gone down. I understand the need for a number 1 corner. But for me and mine, I won't lie to you. I don't hate the Jaycee Horn pick. I just hate Jaycee Horn at number 8. I would have gone Surtain. But I understand why the Panthers may have been locked in on Horn. Not because of us, but because of what the Atlanta Falcons did in their draft. At pick number 4, the Falcons went all in on Matt Ryan. When some people believed they'd be moving on from him, they said, no, you have Julio, you have Calvin Ridley, and now we're going to give you Kyle Pitts. Keep in mind, they also have Mike Davis in the backfield, who's a very strong runner and can catch out the backfield as well. Don't forget that. Y'all remember what Mike Davis, y'all know who Mike Davis is. Y'all know who Mike Davis is. Y'all know who Mike Davis is. The Falcons are going to have an elite juggernaut of an offense. Now, the defense still suspect, but the offense is going to be absolutely disgusting. And the Panthers said, hold up. Are we going to be seeing this man, Kyle Pitts, for the next 5, 7, 8, 10, 15 years? So let's go ahead and pick up the player who guarded him the best this past season, and Jaycee Horn is that. And that's good, because we're going to need someone to cover a tight end, because we have nobody on the team right now, or I guess before last night's first round of the draft, who could guard a tight end consistently. You might be thinking, well, Jeremy Chinn's a linebacker / strong safety who has really good coverage skills, and he's fast, he's strong, he can tackle, all that. Jeremy Chinn can do a lot of things. Consistently stopping a tight end is not something he did at all last year. At all. Not once at all. We did not have anybody who could stop a tight end on the roster last year. Now, if Jeremy Chinn does improve and he's able to cover tight ends this year, that's great. But that was not what the case was this past season. And I get Jaycee Horn, and I can be a good player there, and also Kyle Pitts is not just a tight end, he's also a receiver. I think we got a little scared, we got a little shook, we said, hold up. The Falcons have Kyle Pitts. We need the guy who defended Kyle Pitts the best at the college level just this past season, and we picked up Jaycee Horn. And I do not hate the skill set Jaycee Horn has, but I do doubt it a little bit. I do doubt it. He is a number 1 corner. No doubt about it. He is a great press man corner. Very great at that. He's kind of lacking in zone. So he's going to have to be played in the same kind of James Bradbury role, except James could have played zone sometimes. So James was good in zone, but James Bradbury was a press man corner. You're going to have to play press man on one side and then zone on the other, because you have A.J. Bouye and Dante Jackson, both of whom I think are questionable. So Phil Snow's going to have to add another wrinkle to his defensive scheme to account for a press man corner, and we're going to have to see what he does there, because Jaycee Horn is not all that great in other kind of sets. Now, is he horrible? No, of course not. But his skill set is so heavily skewed to playing press man that you're going to have to just have that be his bread and butter, what he's running most of the time on the field. Now, that's not a big issue to me. That's really not a big issue to me at all. But there are some other insufficiencies in Jaycee Horn's game that really worry me. And none of those are more concerning than this man's tendency to get very grabby the second he believes he's getting beat. The second he believes he's getting beat, he's grabbing, he's getting physical receivers, and this is past the 5-yard mark where you're allowed to jam receivers and get real physical. He is extraordinarily touchy and feely with receivers past 5 yards.
Pause.
I'm not talking about Micah Parsons touchy-feely, not that weirdness. I'm talking about this man, Jaycee Horn, being way too physical with receivers up the field. And at the college level, they allow that to a certain degree. At the college level, they'll let that slip and slide. At the NFL level, you're going to be giving up plays. These quarterbacks watch for that. These quarterbacks are like, okay, if I have you on a deep route here, Jaycee Horn's going to, if you just beat him, all you have to do is just outrun him, and Jaycee Horn's going to grab you. I'm throwing that ball up there. It's a free play every single time. And refs will not be scared to throw that ball. Now, at the college level, you had a lot more leeway to be the best athlete on the field, and you can let your speed, your natural ability, be the big crutch to allow you to maybe miss out some plays. You catch up, you're able to regain position on that play. At the pro level, you have less of your physical ability to rely on. These players are smarter, they're better than the college players. We see a lot of guys who are the best athletes in college and who use that as their best ability, just being the best athlete, shine greatly at the college level, come to the pro level and have to refine their technical skills, and it takes a bit of time, right? Because these guys at the NFL level are extremely talented, and supreme athleticism isn't, the gap isn't as big at the pro level. So you might get beat more often.
You're a victim.
There we go. And it's going to be very hard to coach those tendencies out of him, because that's not a false step. That's not being unable to really, press and jam at line of scrimmage. Those are reps. You get someone who says, this is how you have your hands set. You push him like this. He punches you down. You get your arm right back here. Or false steps. You teach him how to be efficient in the way he uses his feet so he's faster, gets to position even quicker and better, more efficiently. That is a panic response that comes out kind of like a reflex. You start getting beat, you just start grabbing somebody. You don't really think about it. You don't think, I'm going to grab him and pull him back to me. You just start grabbing and say, no, I'm getting beat. I got to slow him down somehow, some way. It's going to be hard to coach that mindset out of a guy like that. Especially when there's a guy like Pat Surtain who also does play man, also is very good, also has better ball skills. For Jaycee Horn being so fast, so strong, and I mean, we can talk about his tackling and whatnot, but for him being what he is, he doesn't really have ball production. 3 years at South Carolina, this was the first year he got a single interception. He didn't get 2, but for him being as good as he is up the field and whatnot, he doesn't actually get production. He doesn't really cause turnovers on defense. Now, James Bradberry did not get interceptions either, and he played very, very well. But he also shut down 3 of the top 5 or 6 receivers in the NFL consistently for 3 years straight. And maybe Jaycee Horn can do the same thing. James Bradberry is a surprisingly very high bar, not a big name player, not an elite household name kind of guy. But when you look at what James Bradberry was able to do against those players for 3 straight years, James Bradberry is actually a very high bar to set for a player. And Jaycee Horn has to either do what he did or get production on the ball. And it feels really weird when there's Slater there, when you had Pat Surtain there. And I get it. Jaycee Horn isn't a bad pick, but he would not have been my pick at 8. I would have gone down 5 spots and looked for a guy there. And I really wouldn't have been too upset with what we would have done at the 13th spot with the Chargers, the 14th spot with the Vikings. We don't do deals with the Patriots, so the 15th spot is pretty much cooked. It's going to be real tough. I think he's going to have a good season. I just don't know if that was the pick at number 8. I don't know if I would have gone him or Pat Surtain. I mean, we need protection, and I think now you have to go back-to-back with O-line. I understand why we went corner in the first round. I would have gone tackle, but I get it. I'm not mad at going corner. I would have gone Surtain, but this Jaycee Horn pick isn't horrible. It just doesn't feel like it was the best pick at number 8. But like everything else in this draft, we'll see how he melds, how he fits in with the rest of the defense. What's the scheme going to be? We're going to have him at CB1. We're going to have either AJ Bouye or Dante at CB2. We still don't have a nickel. Maybe Bouye can play nickel sometimes. I don't know. Dante Jackson cannot play nickel. Do not believe when someone tells you that Dante Jackson can play nickel. He has shown nothing that tells you he can play nickel. Watch the tape. I promise you. That's what you'll find. But Phil Snow's in charge, and I do trust him. That's how I feel about it, man. Like I said, I think he's going to be a good player. There are some things you need to work on. Some very strong things you need to work on. But we do have a number 1 corner here, and we'll see how things go. That's how I feel about it, man. How do y'all feel about it? Let me know all your thoughts in the comments below. And you already know what to do with that like button.
Cheers to you, appreciate the chance. Been told y'all I been the man. Been told y'all I had the gift. Tell a friend to tell a friend. Real ones gonna recommend. Count this as another win.